Hello, I'm Dr. Jessica Pickle, and I'll be your instructor this quarter for Chemistry 121. I want to take a minute here before class really gets underway to introduce myself and also our learning environment and kind of walk through the different spaces that you're going to be participating in throughout the winter of 2023. So, hi, you'll see me in person. You'll also see me online. I'll be in Zoom meetings with you online. You'll see my face in lecture videos on Canvas and in YouTube. And then when we meet in person on Mondays and Wednesdays, I'll be your instructor in class, both for the lecture portion and also for our lab portion of the class. So let's dive into kind of the different places where we'll be. So I'm going to share my screen and show you a map of campus. So here is South Seattle College, and I want to point out a few places that we will be sharing space. It's primarily our lecture classroom and our lab classroom. Both of these can be found in Olympic Hall right here. The easiest way to get to it is to park in the south parking lot, and then you can access the building. It's kind of newer looking. It's right by our brand new recreation facility, which is exciting. And it's near the library and also Brockey Center. So our rooms are 300 and 304. That'll be our lecture and our lab space, and we'll share it with other chemistry classes. So all chemistry classes are currently taking place in those spaces that have a lab component. The other place that you'll find me when I am on campus is in my office, which is in the Robert Smith building, which is actually part of this library Robert Smith block of buildings that looks like one building here, but there's lots of breezeways. So it really feels like 3 or 4 buildings. But my office is right here. The easiest way to kind of find everything, in my opinion, is orienting yourself through the clock tower, which is right here. And so if you're at the clock tower and you just turn to your left, there's a door. And if you go in there and just walk around in a circle, you'll eventually come to a door that has my name on it in this space that's highlighted red. So I'll be there in my office typically in the afternoons or before class. And then right before class, I'll hold my office hours in our classroom, and then I will be there for our class time in Olympic Hall. In our first class meeting, we'll take time to get used to our lecture space, but we'll also see our lab space and get familiar with its safety features and where our labs cabinets are going to be and everything like that. So we'll talk about that in detail in person. But what you're going to be using on a regular basis that you won't see in person is our online class. And that's going to take place here in Canvas. So on your screen, you should see here the Canvas page for our class, Chem 121, Section 1. And this is basically what it's going to look like. This is the instructor version. So your right-hand side will probably look a little different. Hopefully it has a to-do list on it. But you should see a navigation bar for Canvas overall on the far left, then a navigation bar for our course, and then the main page of content. And the homepage is really going to be just a list of the different modules that you can access throughout the quarter. But you also can pop over to just announcements, to a list of the assignments, or a list of your grades on the assignments. And you can also access the files that I have that are linked throughout the modules. I don't anticipate you'll need to navigate to this files components very often or at all, but if you run into a broken link, it might be worth checking in the files to see if you can find it. It might just be that it's broken and you can actually get to the content faster than I can fix the link. On this far left side, you can navigate to your other classes using the dashboard or this courses button. And you can access me and your other instructors through the inbox right here. There's also a calendar, and anything with a due date in our class will populate into our class's calendar. And I'll sometimes add extra things in there as well, like office hours or open lab times. So I'll try to make good use of that so you have a quick, easy place to go to look where deadlines are going to be. And the deadlines will also populate into your to-do list as well. So I try to set up my Canvas courses so I have a nice repeating structure for each week for students. Of course, the first week is usually a little bit different because we're learning about the structure of the class rather than diving directly into the content immediately. Typically, what you'll see is this quick references and resources module at the very top of the page, and I'll leave it there for the quarter. And this just has a few links into it. A link to be able to meet with me on Zoom, resources for getting a tutor or accessing me for drop-in hours, and then also just a discussion board for students to access. Below this quick reference and resources module, I'll always have the current chapter that we're working on. So first you'll see chapter 1, but then as we move through the quarter, you'll see chapter 2, and chapter 3, and chapter 4 populate up. You can navigate to any of the chapters at any of the time during the quarter, so you can work ahead and you can work on things that have already passed. But I'll try to make it easy to navigate by having the current content at the top of the page. So for this week, I'm going to have at the very top of the page our Start Here class logistics and introductory assignments. These are assignments and pages and information that I'd love you to look at in this first week of the quarter. Hopefully, if you can, before we actually meet. So I'll walk through this in just a little bit. First, I want to show you what a typical normal week in the class is going to look like. You'll have usually about one chapter will be covered per week. We have 1 week where we do 2 at the same time. And the module will have all of the assignments and lectures for that chapter wrapped up into one space. So they'll all start with an overview and a list of the learning objectives. And then I'll list all of the assignments that you're going to have for that week. Some of these will be done online. Some of these will be done in class. Some of these will be graded, and some of them won't. So we'll always start with our lecture and reading assignment. These aren't assessed. Like, you're not going to get a grade for it, but it's going to give you a link to the playlist on YouTube for lectures if you don't like navigating through Canvas. It'll also give you the reading assignment and a little bit more information about that and lecture notes, things like that. Then I'll have a link to our homework assignment. This is going to be the assignment page in Canvas, and we're going to use an online homework management tool called Active. And so really this is just a link to Active as well. Our homework assignments aren't going to be very long. They're really intended to help guide and check your work going through the lectures and the reading assignments and giving you some practice. Most students are going to need more practice than the homework provides, and I have created additional practice problems that you can use and have that are written by me, so they're more in my style. These also have solutions with them as well, and so these will always follow the homework assignments in each of our modules. When we meet in class, we'll work on an activity. This will be like a challenging problem a group of students work on together, or a case study, or a demonstration with observations and discussion. I'll have kind of a variety of styles, but I'll track the assignment here. I will pass out information for this and collect it, but if there's any, you'll have to turn something in, and so this will be the space that you can submit your work. Each week we will also have a lab. For the most part, there's a few weeks we don't. And each lab will have 2 assignments that are part of it. A pre-lab assignment to demonstrate that you're prepared for lab, and then the actual lab activity itself. That'll be completed in class and may need to be finished outside of class. Although my hope is that you'll be able to get most of it done when we're together. And these assignments can be submitted also in this space as well. So each week you're going to have a lecture reading assignment. You'll do a few homework problems. You'll come into class and you'll have an activity, and then you'll have a pre-lab for our next class and a lab activity. We'll also have the pieces that you will do fully online are the homework, and the pre-lab and lab may have online components, but we'll also work on these in class together. Same with the activity. So following that are the lecture videos. And I've tried to break these up into short, about 2 to 5 minute videos. Maybe some are up to 10 or 20 minutes at the most, based on topic. And I've separated out the examples. So if you just need to get to an example problem while you're working on a homework or an activity, you can navigate right to it. So these are all labeled based on topic, and I generally follow the topical outline and order of our class textbook, though there may be some variation within that. So while it's a long list, these are all short. You can also autoplay the whole playlist in YouTube as well. And at the end of each set of lectures, I always have an overview lecture and study guide where I just kind of concept map out all of the topics. If it's helpful for you to actually watch that before diving into the lecture videos, I recommend doing that as well. And then I always have a helpful links page as well, where I've linked different YouTube videos of other instructors or YouTube personalities talking about the same topics I covered in the lectures. This will just kind of be a jumping off point for you to find a different way for someone to present the material if my method didn't quite work, or if you just want to hear it a different way. So that's what each chapter module will look like. You'll have assignments, and then you'll have lecture content and additional resources. The Start Here module for this week will be a little bit different, and you're probably already beginning to work through it if you're watching this video. Please go through all of these pages, especially for the class logistics and the Getting Ready to Succeed in Chem 121 part of the Start Here module. There's also resources. These you can grab as you need them throughout the quarter. I want to show you a few of the other sites that we'll be working in. So we'll primarily work here in Canvas, and that's where almost all of our content is. But the videos for our lectures can also be accessed through my YouTube channel, Dr. Pickle in Chemistry. I recommend navigating through the playlists or the links in our Canvas page. And all of my classes are on here, so you kind of have to find them. But they're all listed in playlists by the chapter. So if I scroll down, we can find here, chapter 9. So here's all of the Chemistry 121 chapter 9 videos right here in a playlist. And you can watch them all, just like you can hit play all if you want, and just listen through. Or you can take them one at a time or piece by piece. So this is my YouTube channel. The other space that we'll use is Active for our online homework. And I have a page later on in the Start Here module that has instructions for how to set up your account, and an example problem solved in Active's kind of interface. But your page should look like this when you get enrolled in the class. It usually opens up right into in-class like this, and there'll be no in-class activities. So if you click homework, then you'll be able to see a list of homework. I need to publish these, but that will be done soon. We'll primarily work in this page right here. I will be manually updating your grades into Canvas, and so when you complete an assignment in Active, you won't see the grade update in Canvas until I sit down and do the whole classes, which I'll do once a week. Once a week, I'll go through and update all of the homework assignments and grades. There also isn't a submit button on any of these assignments. You just work on it until you're done, and then I can just see the last thing that you did and the history of what you've done as well. All right, so that is our class base. We're going to be in Olympic Hall 300 and 304 for our in-person component. And then we're going to be working together here online in Canvas and in YouTube and in Active, but primarily here in Canvas. I look forward to meeting you all in person, and I hope you have a happy start to the new year.